My students often ask me, why do we need a framework? And usually right after finishing learning Selenium. So let me show you an example of an automation framework and why it is powerful, why you actually need a framework. I'm going to talk about just some of the features that makes it super helpful for us, but frameworks actually do a lot more than what I'm about to show you. I'm going to create a bunch of series of videos to show a lot of different components and different types of frameworks. So make sure you give me a subscribe. So here, this is a PyTest-based framework. So it's a Python framework, a PyTest-based framework. And normally when you learn Selenium, right, when you learn automation, the first tool you're going to learn is Selenium WebDriver. Selenium WebDriver is a tool that opens a browser and takes action on the website as if a human would do and making sure things work. That's really the whole point. So when you learn Selenium, you write something like this. You basically say, hey, import something, open a browser, go there and do stuff, right? That's valid. That's how Selenium works. But then if you have 100 of those for your website, you might need 100 tests, you might need 1,000 tests, and you're going to have one file each, right? Each file is doing a certain thing. Now, when you want to run all those tests, what do? It's very hard. You're going to have to run one test at a time, one file at a time, or you're going to create some kind of logic, some kind of other script that will go and run everything, right? If you do that, you built a framework, while you could have just used an existing one that is super powerful and mature. So in this case, instead of writing tests like this, you're going to write tests based on whatever framework you're using. So here in this folder here, I have a bunch of tests actually for the homepage, a test just for the login. So you write tests following a certain rule, aka a certain framework, right? There's a requirement. For example, in a PyTest framework, your test functions will need to start with the word test underscore. That's a rule. There are other rules. Also, the test file itself will need to start with the word test underscore. So I'm going to create about those rules specific for PyTest in a different video, but generally every framework would have its own rule, how you're supposed to write it. So first you write your code, you write your Selenium Python code following those exact rules. Then when you want to execute it, you just tell it to execute tests. For example, here, now when I want to run tests, first I can tell it to run every test. All I have to do is type PyTest, because this is our PyTest test, and I'm just going to give it this folder. I'm going to say, hey, go to the tests folder and run everything, and it's just going to start to execute it. You will see the browser running. Every test is going to open a brand new browser the way it's designed right now. Actually, a few tests per browser. It's going to run backend tests, everything, right? I just told it to run this. So within 9 seconds, it said 1 test failed, 22 passed. So they executed 22 tests. Now, if let's say I want to run just everything that is in the backend folder, just backend tests. All I have to do is tell it, oh, I want to run tests in the backend folder, and it's going to go and run everything in the backend folder. So now, just with one command, I can control so much. I can open a file. Let's say I'll open this backend test and I have the ID, test ID 10. I can just tell it, hey, I need a test with an ID, with a marker of that, and it's just going to run that one particular one. So that is the most powerful reason why you want to use a framework, because with one command, the framework will go find all your tests, the ones you want specifically. You just want to run regression ones, if you want to run smoke ones, you can specify. That is one of the things. The other one is it will generate a report. And in the next video, in fact, this is getting too long. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to generate a report and what a PyTest HTML report would look like.